Welcome into Keep It Real with Ana and Avarie. Very different vibes we have going on if you're watching on video. Avarie is very dressed up. She's got boots on with a heel. I'm chilling in a sweatshirt and leggings today.
I had my preview this morning, so had to look.
You had to be on camera.
Camera ready.
I take advantage of every single day that I don't have to be on camera, so I can just wear comfy clothes.
Or not do full makeup.
Oh, God. The full makeup days are just days I dread sometimes.
I know. I think we should get like a once a month facial.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
I think so.
I would love to get a facial.
That should be something that comes with our job since we have to makeup on so much.
I know. It's like, can this be a tax write-off? Like, at what point do taxes come into this? Because I fear that we're spending too much money on makeup and clothes. Like, this just needs to be written off somewhere at some point.
Chris, like a few weeks ago, he got like these vests for the guys and stuff that have like the Hurrdat sports thing in them. Because, I don't know, like for him, Damon, Mike, and Ravi, I think. And I was like, oh, those are cool. I like those. And he's like, yeah, like we all have these jackets and vests. So I just went and embroidered them for everyone, whatever. And I was like, oh, that'd be nice. I need to get like a rain jacket or a windbreaker or something for games and have like the Hail Varsity or something on it. He's like, yeah, watching you and Ana like really stresses me out. You guys have a different outfit on like every time I see you because like you have
Boys
to.
Boys don't understand.
Yeah. And he was like, I would just wear this jacket every time. And I'm like, I'm sure you would.
We can't do that.
I know. So maybe we should have we need like a small stipend.
I know. And I love fall winter fashion for reporting so much more too.
I do too.
Because in the summer it's hard.
Yeah, putting pants on is easier.
And like in the summertime you're trying to find things that are appropriate to wear to work and like also I don't know, match what you're trying to go for. It's just so much easier to have pants and like a jacket. That goes anything.
Or like even if you want to put shorts on and a blazer, I don't want to wear a blazer at the College World Series.
Yeah, it's too hot. Like I have to wear something sleeveless. And there's not that many sleeveless options, so whoever these clothing people are, figure it out.
Can someone sponsor us?
Yeah.
Like Zara, we wear all of your stuff.
Zara,
please.
Wearing the shoes right now. Yeah. That's all Zara. Yeah. Oh, these leggings are Define.
Do you like them?
Shout out Define. Yes, more than Lulu.
Oh.
I would go to bat for Define at this point.
Where'd you order them from? Like
it's called Define.
Their site.
Yeah, DEFNEY.
How did you find them?
My friend Katie, she wears them, and my friend Brooke too. I don't know how they discovered them, but they are amazing material. Love them so much, and they hold you in well.
Oh, those are nice. They seem like they'd be like
nice
thick enough to be outside too.
Super nice and thick, yeah. So and they're like a good price too. They're not super expensive, so 10 out of 10.
Court issue. Yeah, so if you know, we need reporters out here. I know a lot of people like do like the Newly subscriptions and stuff.
Haven't done that. Like Rent the Runway, never done that.
Yeah, I know. I need to be better about it.
Kind of scared to do that.
I know. You know, it requires you to send things back.
See that, like, what if something happens to it?
That and like sending things back is so.
One of the best dressed reporters, Danny Rogers with the Lions.
That I was just gonna say, I love watching Jenny because she makes things seem so simple, and so does Laura. Laura does a great job.
Laura also has amazing outfits.
I also love Erin Andrews. She has a stylist, but like it's so simple, but so good.
Yeah, they all do a really good job.
They do a great job.
I followed Danny Rogers on Instagram for a while, and she's great.
Awesome.
So she like, what I love about her is though she'll post her outfit and like link it.
Link it. Oh, that's so
that's like. We're not here to gatekeep anything, girls, by the way.
No, we're not.
We're here to share the love because she can wear that outfit in Detroit, and I'm probably going to buy her plum blazer set that she wore. Yeah. Because no one in Omaha is going to know.
Mm-hmm. True.
Except for whoever follows her based upon this
if there's a brand out there that needs 2 poster children for their poster women. We're in. Yeah.
Absolutely in. Okay, well, let's get to your LA trip. How was that?
It was good. I haven't been on a flight over like 2 hours in such a long time. Yeah. I don't know how, when, what, where, like why I did this, but I went from Omaha to Chicago to LA. So that flight was about 4 hours.
Yeah, that's a long.
Yeah, it was a long time. Like I haven't been on a flight in a long time where they give you like the menu, you know, like literally everywhere we go in the Big Ten, it's like a 45-minute flight and an hour flight or whatever. So that was an adventure. I had to sprint through the Chicago airport, and then I got a text as I got on the plane. Don't worry, we're holding the plane a few extra minutes for you.
Thanks.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, but anyway, it's okay. Really got my cardio in there. in the football game we played last week on our uneven service out there, I got some shin splints or something.
Yeah, we had a little company 2-hand touch football game.
Yeah, we did.
Impromptu.
Yeah.
And it was on a very uneven field, aka behind our parking lot. Yeah. Essentially.
Probably shouldn't do that anymore. We'll go to a turf
field. We're too
field,
old, honestly. Yeah,
we just needed like a little
a better surface. Yeah,
just a little 30-minute recess.
Our
break.
coworker Andy literally rolled his ankle, like almost broke it in a random hole in the grass. So yikes.
Don't tell Bill that.
Yeah, maybe not.
He's fine. He's totally fine.
Totally fine.
Totally fine. We're just too competitive out here. We just had to go. Honestly, I don't understand. Recess is good.
Recess, should be implemented in workplaces.
Totally. And like the fact that we didn't have recess in middle school. They got rid of it.
Yeah, PE. I don't think we had.
So
we didn't have recess. No,
but like it's so good for the brain.
It is.
We all came back in and it was like, okay, back to work. We just need a 30-minute little. Sorry, we got detoured, but
I think this says a lot about who you are. What did you do at recess when you went outside to play recess?
I played soccer.
Okay, me too.
Every day.
I played soccer every day.
Or if weren't allowed to play soccer because the field was muddy, I'd play kickball.
Yep.
And then in PE, we didn't play like a version of like football. We had like a,
ultimate ball.
I don't know. They were like the weird shaped like silicone, like, I don't even know how to explain them.
Not like a Nerf ball?
No. We called it something. This is going to eat me alive now. I got to figure this out. But we were still allowed to play dodgeball back in the day. I loved a dodgeball day.
Yep.
But when we were in elementary school and we had to do recess or PE inside or whatever, oh my gosh, you guys play cage ball?
Yeah.
Oh my God, you'd have the hula hoops and you'd have it was like dodgeball with that and then capture the flag. Those are my top two.
Capture the flag was really fun.
Yep, I loved that.
My recess was definitely playing soccer outside, always with the boys. Yeah. I was like beating boys up on the field.
Oh, that was my time to shine.
Like I was like ready. I was checking people. I was slide tackling.
Yeah.
I left nothing on the field during recess.
Yeah, there's a reason why I didn't wear nice clothes to school.
There was one time where I was wearing white pants and a white, like, it was like an Aerie or American Eagle sweatsuit.
Yes.
And I was running back up from recess, slid all the way down the hill, muddy hill, just brown all over my pants. And I had to walk into lunch like that. That's a price you pay for being an athlete.
That's so true. That's so true.
Sorry. I think I went home. So
yeah, fair. Okay. Anyway, that's we got there from LA. Anyway,
how'd we get there? Okay.
Yeah. So then I get to LA and my bag wasn't on that flight because it was such a quick turnaround. So I had to wait for I had to wait for my bag to get on the next flight from Chicago to LA, which was only like an hour and a half. So I just literally sat at the terminal area
in LAX.
Of LAX. Yeah. Yep. And then the Uber situation was something. Totally fine though. And then our hotel was really cool. It was very historic and all on the walls it had tons of pictures of like all these movies that had been filmed there. So that was really fun, right in the downtown Los Angeles area.
Cool.
I ordered sugarfish for dinner, which is like so LA. It was really good. Okay. It was really good. It's known for literally being to-go sushi. So like, yeah. So
because usually you wouldn't want to do that.
Right. It's known for that. And like, that's why when I posted it, and I said like when in LA, because it has like the box, it's cut out for you and everything. I had like 3 or 4 people respond to me that like now either live out there or like have used to live in LA and they're like, oh my gosh, like this is the best, like so glad, whatever.
I love that.
Yeah, so that I was like, okay. So
was it better than Blue in Omaha?
I think better than Blue.
Okay.
But my bar now is Koji, which is the Yoshitomo sister. Yeah, that's my bar. We did go to a really, really, really nice like Asian inspired sushi place the second night. Actually, let me go back. I'll get there. Anyway, so that was really good. Woke up at literally 5:50 on Saturday because the time difference, which was like technically 7:50 here.
2 hours behind, right?
Which is like me sleeping in here. So that was kind of funny. I was like wide awake. Nothing like turning on College Game Day and making it feel like I thought I was watching it at like 4 a.m. It was so weird. I had so much time on my hands. It was so odd. Anyway, so we get to the stadium, the Coliseum, and it was really cool. It was very California. Like you walk in the gates, you check in, whatever, and it's all outside, obviously. That whole main concourse is just outside. Yep. And then you get to the seats. So it felt like you're walking to 2 layers like the entire time. Like I was like, okay, I'm in the gate. I'm on the outside concourse area, but now I got to get like into the stadium. So no one was allowed on-field access, which was a little bit of a bummer. Unless you were a photographer. So like even most of the Nebraska media that was there, like the usual writers and news crews and all that kind of stuff, like no one was on the field. So slight bummer, but it was okay. There were so many Husker fans that we me and the other photographer that was out there with us, I took off and went to the tailgates and just took so much video because it was like a quick turn. Once I realized I couldn't get on the field, I was like, shoot, I'm just going to go take as much video as I can. And I wish I could have done some like fan stuff, but when I went out there, I was technically like by myself. So I didn't even have my microphone. It was upstairs because the jack doesn't work with our phones anymore. Nope, so anyway, so I was like, I grabbed that photographer that I saw like in the concourse. I'm like, hey, you're coming with me, like come take these photos. So we went out there and did that. And it was so cool though, because I'm taking video and photo of people and I'm like telling him, I'm like, hey, get that group, like have them say something for us, blah, blah, blah. And multiple people came up and were like, hey, are you so-and-so? Hey, nice. Are you so-and-so? And that was really cool because some of them were creators or photographers or videographers either in the Midwest or here in Nebraska. And they were like, oh, by the way, like I do some work in Lincoln or something. If you guys ever need anything. And I'm like, how funny. We're in LA. We're having this conversation. But that was really cool. People were like, oh my gosh, we'll totally take a picture for you guys, like whatever. So that was always really fun. And we were able to strike up a lot of conversations. But even when I was trying to take video and like get USC people in the videos, I was like, where are they?
Really?
Like, there was some of my videos. I'm sure you saw that.
Well, I know they're a late arriving crowd, and the Husker fans are probably there as soon as you could.
Yes. Yeah. But it was like these massive tailgates and stuff. Like it was like the Modelo tailgate, and I am being dramatic. Like yes, there were USC fans, like the red, whatever. But like there were different reds. But literally, like in every video, even when I looked back to post them, I was like, okay, there's some USC people in that one. That's good. Whatever. But the stadium itself was so funny to me because when I tried getting back in to go to the press box, there's no like media entrance here or this, like there was no, like anytime we hit the road, it reminds me of like how well Nebraska pays attention to their details here. And it's not that I didn't realize that before we had hit the road, like even last year, it's just like very
Nebraska
evident.
has it down.
They do. Like there's no detail is skipped. Like the elevators at Memorial Stadium have different images in them every week based on the opponent, the week, whatever.
Yeah,
like
that's crazy.
They do not skip on details. So for us to get there and like here I am with my suitcase and my backpack and I'm like, hey, I'm looking for like the press box. Like
you had your suitcase with you because you had to leave?
Well, I wasn't staying at that hotel that night because my dad and his friends were there. So I was staying where they were staying.
Bring all your stuff.
Yeah, we've had to do this like 3 weeks in a row because we usually leave. So anyway, so here I am with all my stuff and I'm like, hey, can anyone tell me where the press box is? Like whatever. And they're like, yeah, what floor are you going to? And I'm like 6. And they're like, oh, we don't have a 6th floor. And I was like, my credential says 6th floor. The email said 6th floor. So one lady was finally walking by me at the same time as I was asking questions. And she was like, oh yeah, I'm going there right now. Like follow me. So she points me in the right direction to get on the elevator. So I get on the elevator opens. There's not a 6 button. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, what? And so this communications guy walks in. I see his credential. It says communications. And I'm like, hey, this might be a dumb question. I don't know. I read the email. My credential says 6th floor. There's not a sixth button. I was like, can you help me out? He's like, oh, that's interesting. Let's go to the suite level on 5 and I'll see if anyone knows. And I'm like,
you don't know?
We're on person number 4 that has no idea where the press box is. The second person even goes, I don't think we have a press box. I was like, the Coliseum has a press box.
You have a press box, sir.
You have a press box. So anyway, here I'm like, this is crazy. Okay. So we get to the suite level. No one's there, obviously, because it's 10:30 and the game's at whatever, 1 o'clock their time. And all the suite people are just sitting there waiting for people to show up. And they see me with my backpack and my suitcase. And they're like, hi, are you lost? Can we help you? And I'm like, yeah, I'm looking for the press box on the 6th floor. And they both go, we don't have a 6th floor. And I was like, I'm literally,
I would cry. Probably.
I'm at a loss. I'm like, okay, this is me right after I found out I also can't go on the field. So I'm like, I have no field access. No one here knows.
Where was the press box?
Yes. So finally the lady sitting by the door who was like the escort to like showing people where to go in and out of the suites. She was like, oh, hey, I can help you. And I'm like, oh my God, thank you. And she's like, go outside this door, go over this little bridge, go into that building. That's your elevator. And I was like, oh.
So there is a 6th floor.
Yes, there's a 6th floor, but like there was only one elevator that gives you that access and it's not attached to the main stadium. It's like its own little tower. So there was that. So that's the experience in itself. once again, you're in LA, the football game's happening. USC it's a storied program. You have 2 storied programs playing football against each other, but it's just not the biggest thing happening in that town right now.
No, yeah.
And you could feel that a little bit. So the crowd did show up later. It ended up being like 75,000 people. So the game experience, but like it got loud later in the game when USC was doing some good things, but like anytime there was a tackle for a loss, that pick 6, it was loud in there.
Really? Louder than?
Louder.
Oh, nice.
The intro, when the boys took the field, it was like, whoa, that's crazy. But anyway, that was my long-winded story, but that's me trying to figure out where the heck to go.
Honestly, that's half the battle.
It is half the battle. And like the Uber drop-off spot was like literally a block away from the stadium. So me and John are lugging so it was a full thing, but it was fine.
Suitcase.
It was totally fine. It was an experience. I'm really glad I got to experience that, and despite the result. So
yeah.
And then I got to be kind of a tourist for the like next day and a half.
Yeah, you got to go to an NFL game, right?
We didn't go.
Oh, you didn't go?
I know, I'm kind of bummed.
Why?
Because we stayed in West Hollywood Saturday and Sunday. And so my dad and all of his buddies that went to Nebraska, they all met up. They have some buddies that live in California. So they decided to do this little trip, basically the same way and reason every other Husker fan was out there. They like made it a full weekend. So we had this Airbnb and we went to that really nice place. It was like on top of the city, really cool. Could see everything. It was fantastic. Fantastic.
What was it called again?
Yashimuro? Okay. Yashamiro? I think one of those. It was. Okay. I keep wanting to say Yoshitomo, and that's not obviously
that's
what it is.
Omaha. Also a great place.
Yeah, but it was fantastic.
Not a great view.
It was fantastic though. And then Sunday we did all of the like kind of touristy things. One of my dad's buddies was like, "If you guys are gonna come out here once, like let's just go do the things."
Yeah.
So we were staying like on Sunset Boulevard. So we walked Sunset Boulevard, went to a local little diner for breakfast. We drove to like actual Hollywood, did the Stars Walk. Great, check that box. They were setting up a red carpet for the Gladiator movie, which was kind of cool. So seeing that being set up was kind of fun. Felt very Hollywood. And then we went to Rodeo Drive just to like do the thing, you know? So that was cool. Driving through those neighborhoods was cool. Walking in and out of some of those stores was fun. And then by the time we were done with that, the Chiefs versus Bills was starting. And we were like, okay, let's go back to the house, enjoy the house, have some snacks, watch the game, get ready for the Chargers Bengals. And everyone was kind of like, I think I'm kind of spent. Like by the time we get back, watch this game, get ready, 45 to an hour.
So no one bought
Uber.
tickets yet though.
Some of my dad's buddies did. And we're going to just wait.
Yeah.
And my dad's like, what do you want to do? And I'm like, it's your birthday. I kind of want to go. Like I would really love to experience that. But I know you're here with all your buddies.
Yeah.
We have a really early like wake up call tomorrow. If we would rather just watch the full game and like go to your birthday dinner, we can do that. Like and it sounded like only one other person wanted to go. And so my dad's like, I would like to, but we're kind of too late at this point, like the Uber situation. So it's okay.
Yeah, it's not easy to
it's not easy. No. And so I was kind of bummed, but at the same time, like at the time making the decision, I was like, this game's really good. The Bills and Chiefs. Yeah. And I was like, and I am like exhausted from yesterday. So if we don't go, like that's okay. But a part of me regrets it, but in the moment it was fine. So but everything else was great. Like a lot of things I got to just like check the box, you know, like, will I probably go back to LA at some point? Like probably, sure. But I think I'd want to go closer to the beach just because. Yeah,
you got to see Santa Monica. That pier is so awesome.
We almost did do that too. It's just so hard to get places. Yeah, obviously that's the issue. But yeah. So yeah, we kind of had to like, you know,
pick and choose.
Yeah, which was fine. But I just. Obviously it's LA. There's a lot going on, but I was like, you're stimulated the whole time.
Yeah.
And I know that I've driven through there before, but I was like, I kind of need like, I want to see a little bit like of nature, like go over there a little bit. Yeah. But it was good. It was good. That's once again, my long-winded, but there's my wrap up. So yeah. Yeah. I had a very different Sunday. You had a very different Sunday and I didn't get to see it because we were out bopping around, but how was CBS year 2?
Yeah, great. So CBS Sports Network year 2 for me. First game was Duke women's basketball against South Dakota State. Yeah, really cool.
What a fun opponent.
I know, right? And what was also awesome about it is South Dakota State renovated their arena.
I was just going to ask, yeah.
So it's called First Bank and Trust Arena now. It used to be Frost Arena. They redid like the sound system, the seats, like they added club seating and suites and stuff. It's a perfect size truly for a mid-major, and they packed that place. Like it was sold out. It was a wide out. They did such a good job with like the engagement of the fans and everything and like the hype for it. So they put on a show for
environment was a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, environment was 10 out of 10. And like obviously I rate that on a mid-major scale.
Yeah.
And the only other place that has a better environment of the mid-majors I've been to, Oral Roberts. Incredible basketball for men's.
Okay.
Incredible men's basketball atmosphere.
This was a women's game though, right?
This was a women's game. Which South Dakota's like all about women's basketball already. So
for sure.
I'm sure they probably don't really differ between men's and women's crowds.
No.
Honestly, the women might have more. Truly.
Fair.
But yeah, it was an awesome game. So what's interesting about CBS games and everything is that there's obviously games before it. So they will not start our game on CBS Sports Network until that previous one is done. I don't even remember what game it was. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But that one went a little bit long. So we start on the app. And that kind of sucks because like my opening hit, I was like really excited about. And like it was a great opening hit. It was South Dakota State hadn't lost in that arena. Or they've only lost 4 times in that arena since the 2021-20 season. Okay. So like 4 years, essentially, they've only lost 4 times at home, which is an insane stat. Yeah. It goes to show, like, that environment. And Kara Lawson, the Duke coach, was talking to me about how much she admires South Dakota State. Yeah. And, like, that's really cool to hear from a Duke coach that she admires. And Kara Lawson, if you don't know who that is an absolute women's basketball legend. Yes. Gold medalist. She works with Team USA Basketball. She has won a WNBA championship. She was a former assistant with the Boston Celtics, the first female in that organization. Like,
and here she is in Brookings, South Dakota.
And it's funny because we were like, why did you schedule this game?
I was just going to ask I'm sure you talked to her about that.
And yeah, and that was the question that I was basically answering in that opening hit for people, because that's the number one thing on people's minds. Like, why the hell is Duke basketball in Brookings, South Dakota? Yeah. She had a few different reasons why. Number one, she said she has and this was in the opening hit, which unfortunately wasn't on national TV. She has a list of the hardest places to play in the country that she keeps, and South Dakota State's on it. So like she has like a list of all these different.
So she's played there before, or she took that from other people?
She takes like other people, like I think she looks at the stats of home records. Okay. And finds the hardest place.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So she has a list, and South Dakota State's on it, and wanted to bring her team there. And they're like, okay, how did this happen? She goes, we just called. Like, we just called South Dakota State, and they said yes. Why wouldn't South Dakota State say yes? You know, because they get to play at Cameron as well. Yes. Next year.
That's so cool.
They did like a home and home series, but yeah, she said that. And then she also goes, I also really want to see all 50 states, and South Dakota State
the only way I'll get here.
Not checked off yet. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. But she's hilarious. Like, she's such a straightforward coach, and it was fun getting to know her a little bit, but like, she's so intense. She's just funny for no reason too. Yeah. Like, we did our pregame chat with her, which Duke was, so kind to let us like go into the locker room with coach and talk to her for a few minutes for like 10 minutes before the game. And she was trying to give an analogy of how she likes to bring her teams into tough environments that other Power 4 teams won't go to, like Brookings. And she's like, think about it like if you were on a diet and all of a sudden you have to go travel and they take you to a DoubleTree and they give you those chocolate chip cookies. And she was saying like temptation's always there, like on the road to like not be consistent and not be disciplined in your play. And she just has these hilarious analogies that she always brings up. And like, I looked at their SAD when she said that, and he was just laughing. Yeah. Because I was like, I'm sure he's used to hearing this stuff. Yeah,
exactly.
But yeah, Kara was cool. The game was awesome. Duke only won by like 3 or 4 points.
Yeah, it was close.
It was down to the wire. South Dakota State. And we know South Dakota State's a great game, or a great team. They're a top 25 team, in my opinion. They're receiving votes right now in AP, and they actually were 25th in the nation in the USA Today poll. So
that's awesome.
Great game, great atmosphere. It's hard as a sideline reporter for those games that are actually very good and close, because I don't talk as much. Yeah. And that's fine. You know your role, right? Like, I know the role I'm playing on the team, and I'm the one that's adding in stories and stuff. And I know it's not the best time to tell a childhood story when there's 2 minutes left on the clock and the game's tied up and the crowd's going crazy. So you kind of just have to like pick and choose. So from there, I pivoted to listen into the huddles rather, because they wanted that. Like, I knew that was more valuable information to the viewers at that point than like me telling a story to like more so fill in content and time if it was a 10-point, 15-point lead. Yeah. So yeah, you just always have to be able to pivot and like not stick to what you think you should be able to tell during that game.
You also never know when you're going to need that information again.
Yes.
You know, like
I'll save all of this.
Exactly. Like how cool would it be if you get to cover Duke in the future and you're like, guess what I have? Or even if these players aren't still here, like some of these stories might still be relevant. Or I know this coach and guess what? I never got to tell you these things.
Yep.
Or even on the South Dakota side, I would be surprised if you don't get to talk about them again this year.
Yeah.
Like you got
I have
so many
another
things.
SDSU game too. So I'll be able to use all these other stories.
Totally.
So yeah, not necessarily a bummer because the game was awesome. And like you want that for whatever game you're on. Like you want people to watch, obviously. So it was cool, and our crew's awesome. Like Alex Heiner, one of the best. Like he is so underrated in his play-by-play.
Yes,
like he should be on NFL Sunday Night Football. Truly, he's incredible,
awesome, and he's so awesome to talk to.
So kind,
like away from the game.
Yes,
yeah, I agree.
He truly cares, and like. Just one of the kindest souls I've ever met. And then Color Missy Heydrich, incredibly.
What a fun little crew, like a little reunion.
I know, little reunion. She did our Summit League Media Day. Just incredibly intelligent.
Wow,
like the things that she says on the broadcast, I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Like she just thinks of everything. It's crazy.
I know. It's always nice to be a part of a broadcast or listen to a broadcast when people, I mean, obviously played the sport because for us, we watch it so much, and yes, like we had playing experiences when we were younger, but like
but
to hear her break it down in real time, you're like, okay, I can still see that. Like, I understand what you're saying, but I
just need someone to point it out.
Yes, like I love that you pointed that out because now I observe this a tad bit differently, and these things make sense. And I feel that way about soccer because like I love watching college soccer when they have former, which oftentimes they do, but having former players on there because I'm like, I know exactly what you're throwing down, and I love that you put that in there because not everyone would get that, but like that's so important. And then I love when people share that because one, I think the more knowledge, the more understanding. And I know that's a silly way of saying that, but like it's hard to be more judgmental when we have more. Yeah,
it's like, okay, here's why that play didn't work.
Yes.
Or here's why this did work.
Yes.
And you can actually have you can give players grace when you understand, okay, that scheme just didn't work.
Right. And so not to go off a different tangent, but that's just, I love you bringing that to point because like hearing her in our Summit League Media Day stuff, like we're kind of there just to add in some fluff here and there and some of the the locker room culture things. And she has the X's and O's and it's like, ooh, I really like the way you asked that question, or I like the knowledge you added to that. And that doesn't take a genius to figure it out, but I wouldn't have thought that way. So that's so fun. I love that you had that experience because like what a fun little crew.
No, we have a great crew. We have like Alex is incredible. Missy's great. I mean, just the same amount of talent level there. Throw me in the mix. I don't know. I'm a little wild card sometimes, but no, definitely getting better. And I think it's just reps and like being more confident and whatnot. And like, it's just like a sport. Like the more you practice, the more you get those reps in, the better you'll be. So like, as I progress throughout the season, I'm excited to see that growth. And like, especially I get to be with this crew throughout this entire time. So
familiarity is nice.
It's good to have familiarity on crews like that. Totally. But what were our last things we were going to bring up?
We have a few questions we wanted to ask each other, but this weekend we both have big weekends, but you have the doubleheader between Creighton and Nebraska. That'll be exciting.
Yeah. Honestly, no clue who's going to win either of those. I mean, if I had to pick, but Natalie Potts went down for Nebraska women's basketball. So that makes
she did. I thought
that makes it a tougher matchup. I think Creighton is going to beat Nebraska
in men's,
but still you don't know. Yeah. Because like I'm not 100% certain on what Creighton men's basketball will be this year. Yeah. So who knows? That's going to be their biggest test by far, but they need it because their upcoming schedule over Thanksgiving is crazy. They play like Oregon. Yeah. They could play Alabama or Houston.
Where do they go?
Vegas.
Yeah.
So really tough schedule coming up. Oh, they play San Diego State too, who they lost to in the Elite Eight to go to the Final Four. A moment I'll never forget in my life, worst day of my life. But yeah, it'll be interesting. Doubleheader. It's gonna be a long day of content. I'll be hitting your line quite a bit to help me.
Yeah, that's okay. Friday, right?
Friday.
Yeah, that's good. Well, what time's the girls' game? 4?
4 and 7. Okay, sure.
I have hockey at 7.
Oh, I'll hit David's line.
But you can. David. He'll have to be posting. He will have to be posting. Why did that sound so weird? He'll be posting. Anyway, he'll be posting for Nebraska stuff anyway. So
yeah, I talked to him about it.
I could still help you up until 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll hold you to it.
Yeah, okay. And then Saturday we have a big Wisconsin day.
Yeah, super fun.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that.
I know.
Could be 2 wins in Lincoln. What a day that would be for Nebraska
Happened last
fans.
year.
Holy crap.
Happened last year, but it was at
yes,
Wisconsin. But
it was, to be bowl eligible.
I know. No.
First time in 8 years.
Lincoln could be on fire.
Lincoln could be on
Saturday.
Freaking fire.
Or it could be ice cold.
Could be ice cold. But, well, yeah, if both teams lose, that'd be a rough day.
Yeah.
But
it's also senior day. Senior night for both. And
yeah.
I think I'm going to be emotional. Yeah. I told Damon this today, like after having your own senior day, any senior day after that, like senior days before that would make me like sad. But after having my own, I was like, I can't handle this day.
I can't relate.
Sorry, girl. Rip. But like,
it is really sad.
Like I came and helped you cover like a Creighton women's basketball game.
No, I remember that you were like shaking up. I was like, you need to calm down.
I literally was helping you.
I was like, stop crying.
I'd never watched a Creighton women's basketball game.
And they didn't even
like,
leave. They literally came back this year too.
I know, but I didn't know that at the time. The video they did was I was like watching everyone's reactions. There's only 2 girls. They were best friends, roommates, and I was like,
it's so sad.
Literally, I was a wreck because it was a few months after my.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
I was like,
it was sensitive.
Okay,
sensitive topic.
Yeah. Anyway, but I think the football players knowing some of the impact that they had, like with this coaching staff, I think it's going to make me kind of emotional.
Through it.
They have, like, they've give. We have a little bit more insight because we talked to them for the yearbook, and like the 3 guys that I talked to have been 3 of the longest standing guys in this program right now, and have decided, all 3 of them decided to come back, and for them to like go through everything they've gone through and then want to continue to give back and then be the guys they have been for this coaching staff. Like Tony White said yesterday, he's like, this is all we knew. Like this class is all that we knew. And it's going to be some big holes next year. So it's not that I think I'm going to be emotional knowing, just being like, man, like I hate thinking, but it's like the last time you put your foot on this as a player, like everything you do is the last time. Like they're putting their uniform on in their own locker room for the last time. Like you're taking on and off your cleats for like those things.
Sad, yeah.
Yeah. And then you have the girls on the volleyball team that are like, might as well build them some statues. Yeah. Just because, like, I
mean, Lexi Rodriguez needs to have a statue.
Come on. I mean, Merritt's been here for 2 years, but look what she's done.
And you would think she'd been here for all 4.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm kind of jealous I'm not at that volleyball game that evening, like right after.
Just flip on over.
I know, seriously. But I bet those videos are going to be.
Yeah, it's going to be emotional. Yeah. I'm excited, but
I know.
All good things come to an end. Just like this podcast.
Yeah, but we have some questions.
But we do.
Yeah. Okay, so you start and then I'll ask you the question.
Yes. Okay, so I want to give a shout out to Sydney Breisinger. She is a DS for the Creighton volleyball team, and she sent me a message like last week and asked to interview me, which I always love being interviewed because I'm usually on the other side.
I know, it's fun.
She asked to interview me for a paper about leadership, and she chose the topic of women in sports media. Boop, boop. And I know she wants to do sports media when she's done playing. She also talked to Emily Eamon, who we love her. Oh my gosh. So she got both of our perspectives on leadership and whatnot. But yeah, I think some of the interesting questions she asked me was just, how do you describe yourself as a leader, and how does the world differ when you're a leader as a woman?
Ooh.
And I think there's a lot in that's a
good question.
It's a loaded question, but
I
want to touch on being a leader as a woman, because obviously we both are leaders at Hurrdat Sports and in our own right and throughout sports and whatnot. But I'll give you the floor.
Yeah. Okay. That question immediately takes me to a panel that I did. Let's see. When even was that? A few months.
Union Omaha or the Elkhorn Association.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like back in March, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Ooh, time flies, man. April. Either way, one of the women on this on the panel, yeah, she also kind of like ran part of the event. I asked the question and I said, for many of you, even if you don't want to get into a sports reporting field, I was like, many of the women we have on this panel, 1 is a GM, 2 is the director of the College World Series, 3, she runs her own like track program. The other one is a woman in official in officiating. There we go. I was like, there's all the different kinds of fields here. No matter where you go into, I was like, you bring something different being a woman, and don't always look at it as a disadvantage because the world is telling you that. I was like, yes, do you have to work a little bit harder? For sure you do. But think of it as an advantage. Like, how many men work in most of these fields that we want to be in that are dominated? Almost all of them. When you walk into that room, you immediately bring something different. And so even if you work a little bit harder, that's great. But the 5 guys sitting next to you could all say the same thing, and they're all essentially the same. The minute that you bring something else to that table, it's a little bit different because you've presented that information. Also, the way our brains work are a little bit different.
Very different.
Than men. And there's a reason why we are needed in certain situations. So I've always kind of tried to tell people, especially when they ask me to, like, is it hard being a woman in these situations? And I will give a shout out to most of our male counterparts that we've ever worked with. For the most part, they've always been nothing but supportive. Yeah. Like, I've never had someone on our team or even really in college outside maybe a few that weren't ever like some of our biggest promoters, which I know we are very lucky for that. So to know that I'm supported within my own group, I'm never too worried about what other people are thinking. When I know that the people on my side trust me, respect me, those kind of things. But those things are earned, right? So you do have to show up for the people that you work for. But in terms of being a leader, I think you have to, one, listen to others before you're willing to share things. Because I think there's a lot of things that I've learned in our position that, like, I wouldn't have walked into the meetings the first few months I was here and started sharing things. Yeah. Like, you have to be willing to listen and take in information. And then it's okay to, once you have your own opinions, share them in the way that you think should be shared. Because there's been meetings and things that I've been in and where I'm the youngest or I'm the only woman. And when I share that information, everyone's like, oh my gosh, that's a great idea. Where intimidation might have held me back, being like, they've probably already thought of that, right?
Yeah. Or they just might, like imposter syndrome.
Yeah. Or like they've probably already considered that. Maybe it's to share it. Like, the minute you use your voice once or twice and you realize that it's valuable, you'll realize how valuable it is more oftentimes than not.
Yeah.
And then once again, flip that narrative in your head. Like, it's an advantage that I'm a woman here. Like, what I bring is different than what all the men are going to bring. So yeah, are you maybe going to have to prove a tad bit more? Sure. But give yourself some grace, one, and some time to learn before feeling like you have to project all the time. Because the minute that you have a voice of your own and you have your own thought process and system, like, everyone needs to hear what you have to say. So I know that's kind of long-winded, but it's a process. You have to learn how to trust yourself before you can also, want others to trust you.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the answer I gave was pretty similar, but I went more of the route of, as a woman leader, you get looked at a lot differently and you get judged a lot differently than men who lead.
Yeah.
Because I think when a man says something with conviction and like says like, do this, no, that's wrong, he's looked at as a strong leader. Whereas a woman does that, what do they get called? We all know.
Yeah.
So that is an unfortunate thing about our society that's kind of been implemented in everyone's minds. It's like, okay, a strong woman but a strong man is a confident, well-deserved, like, he should be in that position or whatever. But it's like, how'd that woman get so lucky? I think that's a narrative we have to flip, like, as a society, is like, she's not lucky. She worked her ass off for this. And he's not lucky either. He worked his ass off for it too. He earned it just as much as a woman did. So I think that discrepancy I kind of described for Sydney, and just telling her, like, it is different being a woman leader just because of how you get perceived a little bit differently than men. Right. And I think you always have to tiptoe that sometimes, but like you said, you should not be afraid to use your voice and share. And you should feel confident in giving your opinions and having a voice and everything like that. I just think women get looked at and perceived a little bit differently than men do. Would you agree with that?
No, I would agree with that. I would say too, and I know it's a learning process in the beginning, because when you do walk into some areas, you look around, you're like, I'm a little bit outnumbered here. But I would challenge you, if you're a woman listening to this or a young girl listening to this, don't make that the first thing you pay attention to, or don't make it the thing that you're most enamored with. If you are going into a room that is male dominated, if you're going into a press box that's male dominated,
don't even think about it.
Don't make it the thing that you are enamored with, because there's other things, like, you have a task at hand, you have an assignment. You are there because you are meant to be there. You were sent there by your company, your school, your class, whatever it may be, because it was entrusted on you that you can be there, and you have a job to do. So focus on what that job is. Do it to your professional ability that you've been prepared to go do, and that's what you should be focused on, because there's often times where I don't really even realize if I am one of the only women around, because
I've noticed it less and less.
Yeah. More often times I am, but it doesn't always have to be a bad thing, because I just mentioned, like, most of the people that we work alongside, they're fantastic and they're great. And I really enjoy working alongside them. They will support you. They will. And so don't be afraid to say hello. Don't be afraid to make some relationships, because when you're on the road traveling by yourself or another person or whatever it may be, it's nice to have some of those connections. So be approachable the same way you'd want them to be too, but don't make it the number one thing that you're laser focused on. And I know that's a learning curve. Like it's very obvious in the certain situations, but
just gotta ignore it.
Yeah. Okay. My question. Ball out. Huh? What'd you say?
So you're just there to ball out.
Yeah. Okay. Here's the question that. What, is that funny?
You just thought that was weird.
Okay. Carry on. Okay. So the question that I get from a lot of girls in college, some in high school, and I would like to tell the girls that are messaging me that are in high school that are nervous that they're behind, you are not behind.
You're not behind.
You are way ahead. So you're fine.
Keep it up.
Yes. Okay. So the question I get was, I just want to reach out and ask for any advice you could give me in pursuing that kind of career, along with contact information on how to stay in touch. If you'd be willing to share some references and resources that helped you get to where you are today, or any advice or suggestions about where to start if I have an interest in this industry in college. I'll let you start, and then I'm sure we'll have some similar answers.
Number 1, shadowing.
Yep.
I learned the most, and I will credit this person, Katie Storm, formerly Katie Emmer. So she's married now, but she is the team reporter for the Minnesota Timberwolves, and she let me shadow her in college, and that's when I learned everything about how to be a sports reporter. Also, shadowing Jenny Taft, will give it so much credit to her. I actually just texted her over the weekend about a question I had about reporting. We can get to that maybe, but shadowing, number 1, and then just making every opportunity you can, whether it's available at your college or not. Everyone has the ability to post on social media and start your own brand that way. So I think we put like roadblocks in our head, and like we think like, oh, we can't do it unless we're part of this or are on TV or on the radio. Well, no, you have a platform on your phone, on your social media accounts.
Yeah, true.
And like it has never been easier / more accessible to create content than ever before. So like,
or share information.
Truly nothing should be stopping you. The only thing that's stopping you is obviously yourself. So I would say that take every opportunity, make your own opportunities, and shadow people, find mentors, and please don't be afraid to receive criticism, because you need to be told that you suck.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. The first thing that I usually tell people is, 1, whatever your classes are going to be great. However, the experiences you get that actually mimic what you want to do will be the most impactful things that you do. Yeah. So if there's an opportunity that your class is offering, and I know other schools have some more like programs than we did, but if there is some sort of TV or radio or newspaper program that allows you to get some on-camera experience, or just talking on the radio to find your own voice, do it. The next thing that I like to tell people is get involved in your athletic department.
Yes.
Because most athletic departments are looking for free help. Yes, I said free. Sometimes in college, it has to be free help. And even if it isn't free and it's an intern position and it's not reporting or social media, there's something in that athletic department that they can use you for. You will meet important people. You will make good connections. You will be a part of big people conversations. And that is really important, I think, because 1, if you're willing to show up all the time, and 2, you're in a sports environment, one way or another, your interest will be, you can probably share that with someone. You'll learn from someone, and they'll know we can rely on you when either a job opens up, but you have to be okay with it, doing something, accepting something that's not exactly what you want to do yet.
Yes, that's a good,
And so if you get yourself, and I know it's a saying we hear a lot, but just get your foot in the door. And if that's an athletic department, there's people all around you that have
even
connections.
Even if you're throwing t-shirts.
Literally
anything.
You have no idea. The event staff, the ticketing staff, anything. Like, you will be in the rooms of conversations that can eventually lead you to the next thing.
And tell everyone that you work with your goals.
Yeah, say, like let people know.
Yeah, I'm doing tickets. I want to do sports reporting. Yeah. But I just want to be here.
Totally. Because you never know. Like, you could be talking to the associate athletic director in a meeting, and one way or another, oh, hey, by the way, we have this program. where you should talk to Husker Vision or something along those lines, or, oh my gosh, hey, I actually heard in a cross conversation that Husker Vision needed this next weekend. Have you been in contact with this person?
Yeah.
You have no idea. You have no idea how your name will be thrown around. So don't be afraid to do that. And I also think too, like, there's so many events that happen. I'm speaking for Omaha, Nebraska. Here, more events happen here than we think that like are happening.
Be on the lookout.
Be on the lookout, and don't be afraid to apply yourself for a credential. Once again, if it's not in the position that you don't want it to be in, that's okay. We were running heat sheets at the Olympic swim trials, and we got to sit by Mike Tirico, Michael Phelps, Michelle Tafoya. Like, were we doing what we wanted to do? Maybe not, but like, how much were we learning in those situations? Tons. Yeah. How much experience and like how many memories are we going to draw on from that? Tons. Like, there's just so many opportunities all around you that just because you are a sophomore in college doesn't mean you can't go work an event. Doesn't mean that you can't reach out and see if you can shadow. Like, more people are willing to help than you think they are, which is 100%. Also something. So don't give yourself, like Anna said, that roadblock, but always find a way to get involved, because the real life application will be the things that go on your resume, not the classes you were in.
100%. Could not agree more. And one thing great that the Dawn Staley said, who I love so much.
Dawn Staley.
She talked about in her speech in Omaha a couple years ago, or last year, I think, you don't realize how much it also helps that person when you pour into them as well. Like, you asking me for help or me asking you for help, like, when these people reach out and these students reach out, like, them pouring into us and us pouring into them, like, that also uplifts us as well. So like, keep asking questions, keep reaching out to people, because it also like fulfills me as a person when I get to help other people.
Agree.
Like, I would argue that that's my favorite part of my job, is helping other people.
Agree. I literally love talking to other people that reach out or say hi, which is so funny. Like, it's an imposter thing, but when people reach out or say hi to me at games and stuff, I'm like, I want to chat. Like, I don't want to just say hello. Like, let's have a conversation. And so to the 7 people listening to us today, like, if you have a question or you want to reach out to us too, like, please always do it.
I know it kills me when people have ever come up to me and say like, oh, I was going to message you, but I didn't know. And I'm like, no, always message.
Always do it.
Always reach out. We're here to help. And so many other people you look up to are as well.
Yeah. Well, because I think we've talked about this at times too. Like, the reason why we like this podcast is because like, we're nowhere near like what our quote unquote, the one conversation we had with our friend Sydney, like making it, but we're in the process of doing something we really love. And the people that we get to listen to are sitting at the top in their real life applications of how they got there apply to us, yes, but not entirely, because they're a little bit further removed from that moment. So we're all kind of chasing this dream.
We're all
and this
figuring out ourselves
goal together. So we'll share as much as that we know, because this is the kind of conversation we wish and we love to have with people, and wish we probably could have had with someone sitting right in these chairs. So 100%. We love to share our knowledge, and we also love to learn from other people. So we're only better if we're all together.
Absolutely. Better together. Love it. Great way to end the pod.
You bet.
Thanks for joining. Keep it real. We'll talk to you guys next time.
A Hurrdat Sports Network production.